Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was born in 1756, just 3 years before George Frederick Handel's demise. He was born in Salzburg, Austria, into a musical family. He is considered the world's greatest and renowned musical prodigy. A musical prodigy is someone who expresses great talent at a very young age. His father discovered this early enough and made sure that he received musical lessons. His father, Leopold Mozart, was a renowned musical composer and violinist in the court of the Archbishop of Salzburg. Mozart wrote his first pieces at the age of 5. At the age of 6, the father took him and his 10-year-old sister, Maria Anna, on a tour around Europe. Why this brought income to the family? It was so much stress for the kids. Mozart fell ill severally. Mozart composed a lot of pieces during this period. He was said to have an unusual memory for music. He would attend a performance, travel back, and be able to notate the performance on paper, sometimes with just few errors. He could figure out an entire musical piece in his head. He already had composed symphonies, sonatas, sacred pieces, concertos, and one opera at the age of 13. A year after, that's at the age of 14, the Pope awarded him the prestigious Order of the Golden Spur (OGS) due to his ingenuity in music and contributions through music. He could play the piano and violin with remarkable dexterity and prowess. However, this great musical talent wasn't commensurate with his rather low financial status. He didn't have a permanent patron. He survived more through concerts, writing compositions, and even gifts from friends. His wife, Constance Weber, stood by him through this period of difficulty. It was also true that Mozart wasn't good in money management. Despite this, he bequeathed to the world over 600 compositions, including those of monumental sizes. He lived in Vienna for a greater part of his adult life. This genius, who despite being tossed between hope and anxiety, the stress of composing and performing, the rush of meeting up to time and traveling, and the joy of writing musical pieces that only him could have written, gave up the ghost at the age of 35. He was buried on a rainy, cold December day in a commoner's grave. He died of uremia. Musical works of Mozart. The music of Mozart is full of charm, grace, and expressiveness. After Franz Joseph Haydn, Mozart was the next in remarkable symphony writing. His symphonies would go as though the orchestra were literally singing through his subtle rhythm, flowing melody, and spectacular march of tempo. This can be seen in his Symphony No. 40 in G minor. He had a great insight in blending sonorities as well as celebrating their individual uniqueness in his compositions. The woodwind sections found greater expression in his hand compared to Haydn. Mozart seemed to be specially attracted to exploring the clarinet, for which reason he made it play roles one would expect from oboe. He would several times use the French horn as a tool to create the blend and link between strings and the woodwind. He stuck to the harmonic language of his day. He also demonstrated mastery of fugue writing as evident in Symphony No. 41, usually called the Jupiter Symphony. Mozart loved expressive freedom. This can be seen in how he handled developmental sections and creation of modulating bridge connectors. Mozart explored the German style in several of his operas. He perfected the Shakespeare style in The Magic Flute. He also wrote in the Italian opera buffa and opera seria styles. Mozart proved good at writing dramatic music as seen in the opening section of Don Giovanni. He wrote The Magic Flute on the eve of his death. a work that had strong symbols of Freemasonry. Richard Wagner took this work for the first true German opera. Looking at this piece, Fantasia, you realize that Mozart started with the B minor key. We are in bar 24 right now. From bar 24, we have the B minor. But getting to bar 25, you have the last three notes on the right hand, that's on the treble staff. F sharp repeated three times. The isolation of F sharp is to sound a common tone that will stand between the key where he is coming from, that's B minor, to the key where he's going to, that's D major. So Mozart just struck those three notes, the three F sharp notes, and landed straight on D major in the next bar. So the next bar begins with D major. You can easily see the arpeggio of D major in bar 26. In bar 26, you can see the arpeggio of D major on the left hand. In the bass clef, you can see the arpeggio of D major, and the note there and the chord there belongs to D major. So that chord becomes chord 1 of D major. Starting from bar 26 down, you start having the new key, which is D major. Looking at this piano reduction of the Magic Flute by Mozart, you will see in the penultimate bar here, the Italian augmented sixth chord was used as a chord preceding the dominant chord. And the chord easily leads to a dominant chord, seeing that the two notes surrounding the dominant note, which is the raised fourth and the lowered sixth, were used as notes preceding the dominant note in the dominant chord. So you have the Italian augmented sixth comprising of the lowered sixth, the tonic, and the raised fourth in that order from down, up, leading to chord 5. In this piece, we see C minor beginning the bar from 112, bar 112, and then we'll have a German sixth leading to chord 5 in the same C minor. Thereafter, the piece moves straight to G minor, after which we have another German sixth leading to chord 5 in the key of G minor. Other compositional devices commonly used by Mozart include motivic inversion, use of pedal notes, use of sequences, use of canon, use of motivic imitation, use of contrast and dynamics, modulations, doubling of parts, that's especially in orchestras, and then Mozart will sometimes write drafts of his compositions or play them on a keyboard, and from there derive what he really wants. And then he even developed a musical game whereby several compositional materials can be derived through the outcome of a thrown dice. So if you throw the dice, whatever the outcome of the dice is, you apply it on the compositional chart, and from there you can pick up a new set of musical materials to work with.